Hey there, welcome to another Harkla YouTube video. We're so happy to have you here again. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica, and we're the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we're going to give you 5 tips to help your child learn how to ride a bike.
It is a skill that is just so beneficial for everyone to learn. And there are a lot of underlying reasons as to why a child might struggle with riding a bike, and we're going to dive into those.
Yeah, the first reason might be retained primitive reflexes. We talk about primitive reflexes a lot. If you're new here, definitely check out our other videos on primitive reflexes. But if those primitive reflexes are stuck in your child's body, it's going to prevent your child from moving freely and coordinating their body movements. And this is a big deal when learning to ride a bike.
Yeah, always my go-to with riding a bike is the ATNR. And when the child is holding and steering and trying to go straight and they turn their head, their arms are going to go with them in a certain direction depending on the way that their head turns. So definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
The next one is bilateral coordination. So being able to coordinate both sides of the body, top and bottom, in coordinated and fluid patterns. So think about riding a bike. You have to hold the steering wheel, hold the steering wheel. You have to hold the handles with both hands, steer, you have to pull the brake if you have a handbrake, you have to change gears while simultaneously pedaling or reverse pedaling to brake or starting and stopping. There's a lot of coordination that goes into riding a bike using both sides of the body.
Another one is postural control and balance, and just being able to maintain an upright position while moving through space, and you're moving your arms and your legs and you're turning, and all of those core muscles have to be activated and working in order to keep you upright on the bike.
The last one we're going to touch on today is visual motor skills, ocular motor skills, being able to navigate the environment safely, watch for moving cars coming your way, or making sure you're not going to go off of a curb before you're ready. So keeping in mind those visual skills, a lot of the ocular motor, those underlying ocular motor skills, so being able to move your eyes in a coordinated fashion, they have to be developed in order for a child to even feel safe riding a bike.
There's a few other underlying skills as well that need to be developed, like strength and endurance, vestibular integration as well. But I also think it's important to keep in mind that if your child tries to ride a bike and they're not good at it at first, that's normal. You know, learning to ride a bike can be challenging. So we want to make sure that we're providing our child with consistent exposure and lots of repetition when learning to ride a bike, because it does take a lot of practice to really get a good hang of it.
We also want to make sure that we are building their self-esteem and their confidence. Oftentimes, if you're watching this video, your child probably struggles with the emotional regulation. It's pretty common, and we need to make sure that we're building them up and making sure that we are filling their cup and helping them feel successful, even if they're not successful. So with this video, we're going to give you 5 tips to work on the underlying skills to improve the ability to ride a bike. But this is a video, so we can't hands-on teach you exactly how to ride a bike, to help your child ride a bike. So keep that in mind. As much as we'd love to reach through the screen and help you in person, we can't. So these are very broad, general suggestions that you want to make sure to modify and apply as needed to your unique child.
Yeah, like Rachel said, your child might have other challenges that they are struggling with that affect their bike riding skills. So working on these different skills is helpful, but your child might need other strategies as well.
Our first tip, and probably one of our favorites, is to take the pedals off of the bike and turn it into a balance bike or a strider bike. Make sure you lower the seat so that way their feet can touch the ground. And we're just going to take away that component of pedaling. They can push themselves with their feet, get that momentum, and then they can lift their feet up when they're ready and when they feel comfortable.
Now, if your child is younger and just barely starting to learn to ride a bike, you can get them a strider bike, which is the balance bike, instead of a bike with training wheels. You can actually start them on the strider bike so they really start to learn that coordination piece. The next one is to look into primitive reflex integration. We have a video showing you how to assess for a few different primitive reflexes, so definitely watch that video. If your child is struggling to ride a bike, they might have some of these retained primitive reflexes. If they do, we definitely encourage you to seek out in-person therapy with a trained professional to help them integrate these primitive reflexes. If that's not an option, we do have a digital course that teaches you how to integrate primitive reflexes, and that's the best option to get going on your primitive reflex journey, is to just learn more about it.
Mm-hmm. The next one is to incorporate some different exercises and activities that promote crossing midline and bilateral integration, things like cross crawls, so you're touching your opposite elbow to your opposite knee, or cross-country skis, which are kind of jumping in place while you're working on the opposition. So arms and legs are going in opposite directions. Things like jumping jacks, things like bird dogs, where you're alternating your leg and your arm simultaneously while you're in that crawling position. So really focus on connecting both sides of the body and crossing the midline of the body as well.
Another one I was thinking of was jump rope.
Oh yeah.
And do some jump roping. If you
Yes.
don't have a jump rope, any type of rope works to just practice swinging that rope around and then jumping over it.
Now I'm thinking of the skip it, right? Where
The
you put
skip
the
it
little
game.
hook around your ankle and you have to throw the ball and jump around the rope.
That one was always really
I
hard.
love that one. So you get kind of what we're hoping for here is to work on the coordination, the timing, the sequencing, the bilateral skills. All of those underlying skills are required for riding a bike.
The next one is to work on some postural control and balance using a therapy ball or an exercise ball. And we love doing activities like ball walkouts, where you lay on the ball on your stomach and walk out on your hands, keeping the ball balanced on your legs. And this really activates those core muscles. You can also do trunk rotation activities, so sitting on the ball and having your feet stabilized on the floor and maybe touching targets on the wall behind you and rotating your trunk to both sides while keeping your balance. And then another one is placing small items on the floor, and while sitting on the floor, you're going to use your feet and your toes to pick up those items and either drop them into a target on the floor or grab them with your opposite hand. All of these activities are great to really focus on that core strength and that balance.
If you don't have a therapy ball, or if that skill is a little bit too advanced, you can just simply work on balancing on one foot, switching legs, keeping your hands on your hips, and maybe just balancing on a Bosu ball. If you have like one of those half therapy balls available, that's an option as well. The last one we're going to suggest today is to work on those visual motor skills, the ocular motor skills, and one of our favorite ways to work on that is to incorporate an infinity loop. And so you're going to draw a big infinity loop on the floor, or just put two objects up, and that's going to be your infinity loop that you navigate around, and then have the child walk around in the infinity loop while maybe they are catching a ball that you're throwing to them, a playground ball. Maybe they are reading the letters on a chart that's stationary on the wall. So as they're moving, they have to change their head position. They have to lock their eyes in on either the ball or the chart. And it really works on those visual motor skills as well as the ocular motor skills. Another one that you can incorporate is a cup ball catching game.
I wish these had real names.
I know. So really what you're gonna do is have the child stand across from you, like next to a table. They maybe have two cups in their hand, or maybe just one cup, and you're going to roll two balls across the table, one ball on the table, and have them visually track it and catch the ball in the cup. If you want to increase the challenge, you can have them hold two cups and call out which hand they're going to catch the ball in. So if you roll one ball down and you say right hand, they have to catch it in their right hand. Great skill for those underlying bike riding skills. You think about turning and navigating and knowing left and rights. That also goes along to the primitive reflex integration. So you can see here what we're working on, the activities where your head is moving, your head is stationary, your eyes are moving, your eyes are stationary. So really building those visual, vestibular, ocular motor skills.
Another one you can do to build these skills is to play catch. So have your child stand a couple of feet away from the wall, throw a ball at the wall, and catch it as it comes back. Now, you can do this in a variety of different ways to challenge them. Maybe they have to stand on one foot while they play catch. Maybe they have to play catch with two balls instead of just one. Maybe they have to stand on a balance beam. You can really challenge their core and their postural control with this visual motor activity.
So there you have it, 5 ways to help work on bike riding almost without even working on bike riding.
Yeah, you're working on the underlying skills.
Yes.
So do some of these activities to work on the underlying skills before you go out and ride your bike.
Also keep in mind that you will have to participate in these activities pretty consistently. It's not going to just take one time of doing these and then magically they know how to ride a bike. So keep that in mind, keep practicing, stay consistent, and make it really fun.
If you found this video helpful, make sure you like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a comment and let us know what you think, and then share it with somebody else who might find it helpful.
Definitely check out our podcast, All Things Sensory by Harkla. You can find it on all major podcast platforms. And follow us on Instagram. That's where we hang out. You can find us at All Things Sensory Podcast, as well as Harkla_family.
All right, that's all we have for you today, so we will talk to you next time.
Have fun.
Don't move. Stay still.
No, you can move.
I mean, I really can't. Okay, play catch with the wall.